David Zaslav doubles down on rebooting Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Disney stiffs its volunteers. Mattel is plotting their next steps after the success of Barbie. There's fire in the sky, and Disney, Pixar, and ESPN announce a Toy Story project coming in October that could incorporate artificial intelligence. All that and more on this episode of That Park Place. Welcome to That Park Place, the channel that brings you all the news that should be fun. Today, we've got another great lineup of stories for you. Here with me, as always, is my co-host, Vash Sky. Vash, how you doing?
I am doing very, very well. How about you, Jonas?
Doing pretty good, you know. I think I'm finally recovered from Wednesday's always a busy day for me. Now, today, as always, we are covering all the news in entertainment and streaming and theme parks. I'm really loving how everything is going so far. Vash, you got anything you want to say before we get started here?
Just a big thank you to all of our contributors who have submitted all these stories from across the internet. Thank you so much. And, well, here now, your hosts from across the That Park Place network for all the news that should be fun.
Number 1.
My name's Spencer Baculi. I'm the editor and resident Wally West fan over at Bounding Into Comics, and today I'm taking over the show for the next 2 minutes to let you know that despite recent failures like The Flash and Blue Beetle, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is still committed to making use of the studio's underutilized franchise properties. Speaking to attendees at the recent Goldman Sachs Communacopia and Technology Conference, Zaslav opined, quote, "One of the other real strengths of Warner Brothers is we talk about the great IP that Warner Brothers owns. But for us, the challenge is that our content, our great IP, Harry Potter, DC, Lord of the Rings, that content has been underused," end quote. The CEO then shared a surprise at the fact that while some of these franchises have received various spin-offs, such as the Fantastic Beasts series of Harry Potter films, the core properties themselves have laid dormant for 10 years. Recalling how WBD has not done any solo, quote, long-form Superman, end quote, projects since 2013's Man of Steel, the CEO then likewise admitted, quote, "We haven't done anything with Harry Potter for more than a decade. We haven't done anything with Lord of the Rings," end quote. However, though Zaslav is obviously chomping at the bit to do the job he was hired for and rescue WBD from the money pit they currently find themselves in, he also acknowledged, quote, "We've got to be careful not to overuse the content," end quote. Nevertheless, the CEO ultimately affirmed, quote, "We think there's a lot of shareholder value in attaching a 10-year DC, a real plan around DC, bringing Harry Potter back to HBO for 10 consecutive years, doing multiple movies of Lord of the Rings," end quote, before subsequently admitting that without these franchises, the studio's performance over the last 20 years was, quote, "relatively flat." Zaslav added, quote, "When you put those franchises in, it's the best performing studio in the world. We need to deploy our best capital, and we need to do it with the best creative people in the world," end quote. Now, as anyone who's seen a Star Wars or a Marvel or even a DC film in recent years can attest, the accomplishment of Zaslav's goal is way easier said than done. That said, I want to turn the question over to you. Do you think more franchise films can help right WBD's financial ship? Do you even have faith in modern Hollywood to pull off a successful revival of any of the aforementioned properties? Let us know your thoughts down below.
Number 2.
Hello, everyone. This is Lorena of the Lorena Creole YouTube channel, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And speaking of keeping it real, Run Disney will not offer complimentary theme park tickets for volunteers. Registration is open for volunteer positions at the 2023 Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend at Walt Disney World in early November, with a significant change in benefits to the people who make it possible. I'll give you 3 guesses what the significant change in benefits is going to be. So apparently some people who tried to register as volunteers for this got this lovely blurb here from Disney saying, "Thank you for considering volunteering your time during the upcoming Run Disney race season. Your passion for making a difference in the Central Florida community through our celebrated charities is truly valued. In keeping with that spirit of volunteerism, complimentary theme park tickets will not be distributed. We appreciate your support and your enthusiasm for our magical running community." I ask you, would you volunteer your time for an event like this run by Disney? Let us know in the comments how you feel about a corporation like Disney wanting volunteers to give their time away for free when they're a for-profit company. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Number 3.
I'm Culture Casino from my own channel, focusing on business of entertainment, and That Park Place. Today, we put Deadline front and center with their recent article, Mattel CEO Talks Barbie Economics, calls film a template for the toy maker's IP strategy. This is written by Jill Goldsmith, who's the co-business editor at the outlet. Now, from the article, Barbie will contribute more than $125 million in gross billings to Mattel this year. At least, that's according to the company's CFO, Anthony D. Silvestro. That's a nice shout out from the blockbuster film that is closing in on $1.4 billion worldwide. He went on to say that our economics are a function of the revenue, as well as profit participation, which scales up with the success of the movie. He said the $125 million includes direct movie participation, plus sales of toys and consumer products. According to the cited story from the Wall Street Journal, Mattel earned 5% of Barbie's box office revenue. Of course, that will make it easier to calculate just how profitable this filmmaking arrangement is in the future. I'm sure analysts like our friend Valiant Renegade will be positively giddy about that revelation. As a much needed aside for the added context, Mattel is not deluding itself based on the success of Barbie, despite actively developing over a dozen IPs for film and television based on all of their products. It actually sounds as if they may understand that Barbie may be lightning in a bottle, which leaves us to only one question. Is Mattel learning their lesson before they invest millions in a Lena Dunham Polly Pocket movie or a J.J. Abrams Hot Wheels? For their sake and the sake of film exhibitors, I hope so.
Number 4. It's your pal WDW Pro here, and I am showing off something that Theme Park Wizard sent my way. Many people have said, what are they going to do with drones in the future at theme parks? Well, I present to you this incredible drone show. Look at that, using the drones to form an alien head and fire laser beams, which then are combined with pyrotechnics to make it look like a giant extraterrestrial robo-force is attacking the Earth. This is awesome, and this is what we want to see in our domestic parks very soon. Hope you enjoyed! Number 5.
Our last story here comes from Deadline. Toy Story-themed animated simulcast of NFL games set to stream on Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. In a first for the burgeoning realm of alternate live sports telecasts, an upcoming NFL game will be adapted in real time as a fully animated contest taking place in the Toy Story universe. So one can think of this as kind of like a digital recreation of the entire game, play by play, in real time, with maybe about a 30-second delay, utilizing rendering technology, probably such as AI, to make it appear as if players were toys playing the game in Andy's room. Now, one might think about why even do this in the first place, right? Well, from Disney's perspective, this is expanding the demographic of viewers to include families, with an emphasis on children, for the purposes of providing a platform in which they can sell advertising slots to, well, 4-quadrant advertisers, kind of expand that out. For the NFL's perspective, one can think of this as kind of like Nickelodeon's Slime Time, which first premiered January 10th, 2021, following the remerger of Viacom and CBS, which included Nickelodeon-inspired animated graphics and characters from shows like SpongeBob SquarePants, overlaid onto a broadcast of a really for real NFL football game. This serves the dual purpose of broadening the appeal of the game to a much younger demographic, while also hopefully assuaging safety concerns from parents looking to enroll little Johnny into Pee-wee, middle school, or even high school football. So, will you be there on October 1st to see the Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Atlanta Falcons in Andy's room? Let us know in the comments below.
Wow. First of all, great analysis, Vash. This is so fascinating to me. Because at this point, it is football, but it's just not really football, and it's Pixar characters, but it is not technically animation, at least not by humans. So the art aspect of animation is gone here. If I'm understanding this correctly, this would have to be mostly guided by a computer. Does that sound like what's going on?
Absolutely. It sounds like, judging by the delay and so forth and the presentation itself, it sounds like they're going to be inputting stat lines or kind of a rough input of the game into a computer, and having that computer render those things in real time while viewers are actually seeing it live. So
I would assume the only other alternative would be put some kind of motion capture technology into the helmets, which when they're all flying around at high speed, running into each other. I'd hate to see what would happen if a helmet came off of a player in the middle of the match, how that would play out in Andy's room. Actually, it'd be a little less horrifying in Andy's room, I suppose.
It's interesting you say that, Jonas, because there was an incident in which they did actually place a helmet cam into a player's helmet, and when his helmet was actually, it came off, people thought he was decapitated. So that is actually, something like that has actually happened before, which is interesting. But I think in this case, because the rendering might be, I don't want to say rough, but toy-like, that allows him some flexibility to kind of render these things without requiring such precision.
Well, thank you very much, Vash, for closing us out here. Thank you to our audience for sticking around and listening to all of our amazing contributors. Of course, you can follow That Park Place at all of the socials listed there at the top of the screen. Subscribe if you like this kind of content, and please consider liking and sharing this out if you are enjoying our quick breakdowns of all the news that should be fun. For more, come back and watch another video. They're all right there.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com for all the news that should be fun. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.